Do you think this young woman is a cold-blooded murderer capable of killing her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee? Or is she the victim of manipulation of an abusive father, as she claims? What do you think happened in this case? It's your call right now. This is the face that has broken the hearts of people all over the country. Caylee Anthony, just 2 years old, is dead. But was she murdered by her mother, or is she the victim of a tragic accident? You'll be able to tell us what you think in just a moment. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lynn Doyle. For more than 3 years, this case has captivated and disgusted us. Caylee Anthony stands accused of murdering her own child in a case that has pitted mother against daughter and now daughter against father. In a startling opening argument, Casey's attorneys told the jury that yes, Caylee did die while in Casey's care, but that it was a tragic accident, a drowning in the family pool. But the shocker was she said it was her father who insisted they cover it up, and that she went along with it because he had sexually abused her for years and she is powerless to fight him. Is this a legitimate argument or a risky move that may see Caylee face the death penalty? We're going to ask our panel. You know them very well. Joining us is attorney Sadie LeDove. She's a partner in the law firm of Dolchin, Slotkin & Todd. She's a former Bronx, New York prosecutor, the past chancellor of the Philadelphia Bar Association, and now a member of the Board of Governors of the Pennsylvania Bar Association. On the defense side is Charles Prudo Jr. He's a well-known Philadelphia defense attorney, joined by Jeff Gold, who's also a criminal defense attorney with the law offices of Gold and Associates. He is a former New Jersey prosecutor. They are among my favorite legal panel. Thank you guys so much. It's great to have you back with us.
Good to be back, Lynn.
Is this a slam dunk, as it were, for the prosecution? Do you see any way they could lose this case against Caylee Anthony?
You know, Lynn, you can always lose a case. However, if the prosecution loses this case, shame on them. This woman borders on either a psychopathic or sociopathic individual who makes Patsy Ramsey look like a grieving mother. She sits there, she occasionally cries, she goes out partying while her child is missing for 31 days, she goes clubbing, she goes on shopping sprees to Target, and she changes her story more than you and I change her hairstyles. What's up with that?
That's a lot of changes.
That's right.
Over 15 years. A lot of people, Chucky, shaking their heads at the defense here, saying that, yes, we admit Caylee died while in Casey's care, but that it was because daddy made her do it or that daddy was to blame. What's up with that?
Well, that could work. Number one, if it's true, it could work. I don't believe it. But it could work if on cross-examination of the father, when he took the stand for the government, the defense attorney went at him 100 miles per hour with 2 sledgehammers, cross-examining him about the abuse that she sustained at his hands over the years. They didn't even bring it up. Of all these things of abuse that he did to the granddaughter, all of these things were just let go. He didn't even cross-examine on it. So it got to the point where I think either the defense lawyer doesn't believe her, or he's so timid and he can't raise it. He just thinks it's so ridiculous, or he was afraid of the answers he was going to get from the father and didn't even try it.
Well, you know, it's odd. I'd like to know what our viewers have to say about this. It's odd that they would make these statements in the opening statement, Jeff, and then not try to get the sympathy of the jury by proving that she was a victim of alleged abuse.
Well, I mean, they'll have a chance in the defense case to do something else, but it was a glaring error. You know, in order for this jury to buy that story, they have to hate Dad. Okay, they have to buy he's the doer. He's really the culpable pilot. And to allow him to be on the stand when that's your defense and not ask him a question is to be afraid of what he's going to say, which telegraphs to the jury it's a bunch of hogwash.
Does that mean then that they're going to put Caylee on the stand and let her tell the story without giving her father an opportunity to dispute it or rebut it?
Well, if they don't, I can't wait for the prosecution in closing argument to say, and do you remember when the defense attorney told you in opening argument that this is an abused girl, that she is so messed up, so it almost compels them to put them on the stand, elsewise the prosecution makes mincemeat of the defense case and close it.
You know, on the other hand, she's not charged with being a liar in the first degree, which we would all concede. She's charged with murder, and I don't know if there's any hard scientific evidence that ties her to this murder. there is motive, arguably, because she just wanted to be rid of this burden, a child, and go out clubbing. That could get her the death penalty. So I would have used a mental infirmity defense, something along the lines of insanity, because to me, it is insane to produce this defense and act in the manner which she did during the 31 days that her daughter was missing.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the defense has at its disposal all of the evidence that the prosecution has against its client, correct?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you have taken a look at that, the pictures of her clubbing, the text messages that went out to former boyfriends, and her brother? Why wouldn't you have kind of countered that and prepared for it?
They've looked at it, Lynn. To just go a little further than what Chuck said here, you could have a cogent defense to say that this is a mental disease or defect, that the reason she covered it up is because of the sexual abuse that she had with her father. That's fine. You could start there, but you have to at some point stop and say these were the lies and this is why those were lies and this is where the truth is, and sound real about it. And there's nothing in this case so far that says that. They can still call Dad as a witness in their case if they want. Maybe they're waiting because how much they could do on cross-examination certainly goes to motive, etc. But they might decide to call him. There's other things they can do.
The viewers should understand, and we would agree, that it's easy on cross-examination to beat up a witness.
Yes.
When you call that witness in your own case, you can't lead them. Right. You can't get what you want out of them because it's your witness. It's almost as if they almost gave up at opening statement.
Well, I'm interested to know what you guys think about the fact that both her mother and her father are witnesses for the prosecution. Typically, in a case like this, you try to put the parents on as character witnesses for the defendant herself, but not in this case. What's the jury going to make of that?
It says to me, if I'm sitting on the jury, I'm saying to myself just what you have said. How is it that these parents are not standing with their child who is accused of the most heinous crime? It says to me that this defendant must really be a not nice person, a really horrible human being if she's alienated her
parents. But there is something that's going to come out along these lines, because there's a taped interview that was intercepted. That is the brother of the defendant is interviewing the defendant in this jail cell. It's tape recorded, obviously against her. Well, they didn't know about it. And she's saying to the brother, I can trust Mom and Dad. Well, if she could trust Mom and Dad, is this whole trial a circus? Is it a ploy? Is it all rehearsed? Because if you could trust Mom and Dad, Dad's not going to get up there and say he abused his granddaughter to help his daughter on a case like that.
I just doubt a circus. I think it's already surpassed circus. We're going to give you a chance now to tell us what you think about all of this. What do you think happened to the little girl? Do you think it really was a tragic accident? Or, as the prosecution says, do you think it was premeditated murder? Do you believe anything that Casey says, or in your opinion, is she a pathological liar? And if she is in fact found guilty, is this a case that screams for the death penalty? All questions that we're posing to you and to our panel. If you want to join in, you can email me directly right now at lynn@lynndoyle.net. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I talk about the text messaging and the Facebook and that kind of stuff. That social media is actually going to come back and is coming back to haunt Casey Anthony, because she's put a lot of stuff in text messages to various people that are now being used as a motive for murdering this little girl.
Yeah, people need to understand that social media, there's no expectation of privacy when you put something out over the internet. Now, the defense did score a point when the court sided with the defense in not allowing the jury to hear or see a sexually charged text message or email between Casey and her